Oh my god, this is actually new for me. So.
All right, welcome everybody. Kevin Shirka here, the Indiana Jones nerd, and I got some friends. We're gonna do a live stream talking about Indiana Jones 5. So I want everyone to introduce yourselves, starting with Fizzy.
Okay, so my name is Fizzy. I live in Sweden. I have always loved Indiana Jones. I would say my favorite movie of the four, soon to be five movies is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Since I have a lot of memories in that movie, and it means a lot to me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I had asked everyone to say their favorite movie too, so thank you. And then
Yeah.
let's
Okay.
go to Sebastian. Introduce yourself and how you got into indie and your favorite indie movie.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sebastian. My favorite movie is The Temple of Doom, and I got introduced to indie by the Lego games.
Oh hell yeah! And let's go to Dude
It's
Man.
awesome.
Hi. So I guess I got introduced to Indiana Jones from my grandparents who were just playing it in the background. I was hooked ever since. I think my favorite one is Last Crusade.
Hell yeah! And then we were gonna have the Indie Collector as our first person, and you can see the name Indie Collector. But we actually he wasn't able to make it, so we actually have Sticky Ricky joining us today. Ricky, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Ricky. My favorite movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Got into Indiana Jones because I wore a plastic Indiana Jones hat for 3 years, and my parents forgot what my head was shaped like. But yeah, yeah, my favorite movie is Raiders.
Hell yeah! And I think I also have to go with Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think Last Crusade was kind of my favorite at the beginning, but it's kind of gone down a little bit for me. Although I love it, but yeah, I think Raiders for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
Same here.
yeah. So thank you. Welcome to everybody joining us. I see Indiana Jones Hanger is in the chat there. Good to see you, buddy. And we're gonna just talk a little bit about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
So I'll open the floor, guys. The trailer came out in December. What did you guys think about it?
I thought it was awesome. Like I think
Yeah,
it was a
me
really
too.
good trailer.
It made me cry multiple times.
Yeah, definitely got an emotional response out of me. Well, let's let's just start throwing ideas around in terms of what do you think the story is about. I guess if anybody wants to chime in, what you're predicting for the movie.
So yeah, I think the biggest predictions right now is time travel. I really don't know if I'm that into it, but like we'll see if Indiana Jones, if Indiana Jones 5 makes makes sense of the time travel. If you understand what I mean by that.
I said this. I think I said this before once, but I think it was if they took the approach of being more of like the Dark Horse comics, I think that time travel really could work in this type of movie.
Yeah.
What do you mean exactly by the approach of the Dark Horse comics?
Like how like those comics are a little bit more surreal, or not really like more of the Dark Horse, but more so like the Marvel ones, because like
okay,
those comics were crazy, man.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
If they could pull it off like that, then I think that they could definitely pull off time travel for sure.
Okay, yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Because the Marvel comics, they were more like just the writers were very creative, and they would go out there and do all sorts of crazy things. And I think it's sort of this idea of like, what is Indiana Jones? Like, is Indiana Jones like, can it be like, how far can you go and it's still Indiana Jones? And so for a lot of people, and even for me, I'm still kind of questioning like, is time travel something that really fits? But we got Aliens, the last one, so I guess it's not that far out compared to that.
Yeah. I think
Gonna
it's
give
more
Toy
about
magic, not magic, sorry, robot arms. So I think always the thoughts of like those slash I see realistic sci-fi things were always in the I guess they always had that in mind, that sci-fi side of it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, this is a George Lucas franchise, and he's always been about like crazy ideas. So it does sort of fit. Yeah, I think it's just like we're so used to, you know, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then especially Last Crusade, kind of ingrained in my head like what Indiana Jones is, and for like the 90s, for all that time growing up, like we kind of had an understanding of what Indiana Jones was, but it seems to me like with the last film and this film also, like, you know, we're kind of, you know, exploring some new territory here, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Do you guys think it's gonna work, time travel?
Yeah. I think it matters how they do it, because I think the way it could work is, say it's like the Nazis, right? They want to bring back Hitler or go back in time to fix World War II. I think if they do it like that, it could work out well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely has real stakes for sure.
Sorry, what'd you say?
Like I said, it definitely has like real stakes to it, especially like
Right.
changing the course of history, and of course the Nazis could eventually take over if they do, or if they are successful, of course.
Yeah, it's a really great, interesting way to incorporate Nazis into like a post World War II Indiana Jones movie, but still like tie it with World War II.
Right.
I always thought that like, have you guys ever seen The Boys from Brazil? It's this sci-fi movie. Well, I'm gonna spoil it for you. It's not exactly a sci-fi movie, but it's a thriller. It's like a post World War II, like neo-Nazi related movie, but it takes like a sci-fi twist to it. So basically, what it is like there are Nazi hunters, and they discover that they discovered Germans, a German like ex-Nazi community living in South America, and they wiretap one of their meetings, and it's Gregory Peck playing Dr. Mengele, and he basically says there are 75 men, and these are not like soldiers or anybody important. They're like post office workers and random people, and it's like there are 75 men who need to be killed. So I want you to make these 75 assassinations over the next 2 years. And then it becomes a mystery, like what is this all about, and like how does this tie in with... So, well, should I spoil the movie for you, because there's a really interesting sort of twist to it.
Yeah, spoil it.
Okay, so the twist is that so the Nazi hunter goes, and you know, after some of these guys have been killed, he goes and he talks to the widows, and then he sees one of the widows has this child, this boy who's like has like blue eyes and black hair, and he's like very arrogant and everything. And then he goes to another family, and they have the same child, like an exact copy of it. And this repeats for a little while. He's like, what's going on? And then they realize Dr. Mengele has cloned Adolf Hitler 75 times and has sent one to different families all over the world. And so they're assassinating these men in order to duplicate Hitler's life story, in order for him to become like frustrated and everything the way that Hitler was in real life. But it kind of, I always thought it's interesting, and it sort of is a little bit related to this movie in that it's like a sci-fi take on Nazis after post-World War II trying to like recapture their glory, or like bring back the glory of their empire in some way. I watched it the other night. I love talking about the movie. It's so interesting. But yeah, it's sort of like that though. Going back to Indy 5, like they're trying to recapture that glory of where they were in World War II and bring that back, but here with the aspect of time travel, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. It sounds like they were manufacturing Hitlers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a really interesting film. Sorry, I feel like I've derailed us so much talking about The Boys from Brazil, but let's get back to Indiana Jones 5. Did you guys ever think time travel would work for Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Depends
Yeah.
on how they do it.
Right.
You can only say they have to do it right so many times, you know.
Mhm.
I think what they I don't think they really should go too much towards sci-fi. That's one of the reasons why I did like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because they kind of implemented the aliens to become like, you know, ancient. You know, like the original plan, I guess it was with the Indiana Jones and the Flying Saucer Men, which I think that's way too far out there. I think they did that with Crystal Skull pretty well, and if I think if they are able to do the time travel elements well and make it seem like it's like an ancient piece of technology that probably doesn't work at first, you know, it's kind of wonky, but you know, eventually it does show its true power in time travel, and you know, make it seem like as if these historical figures have used it in the past for multiple situations and stuff like that. I think that they can do it really well as long as they just flesh out the story and, you know, just not rush it. And I believe that Mangold is not going to rush it. My whole heart goes out to Mangold. I think he'll do it correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd actually be kind of a cool way, because you know the artifact always backfires on the bad guys. What if like they time travel to like the wrong date and they walk like right into some sort of like the dinosaurs dying out, so they walk into like this fiery, you know, whatever. It'd be
Oh yeah.
Oh, very interesting. Let's think of like what else can be like the demise of the villain. Like, cause I wonder, will he get stuck in? Because I feel like they're time traveling to ancient Syracuse based on my knowledge. Do you think he's gonna get stuck in ancient Syracuse?
that could be.
Yeah. Or any other ideas?
I don't think he'll die a violent death, though. I don't.
No.
I think probably getting stuck in the past seems correct.
All I'm saying is, what if the villain beats the shit out of Indy and it makes him lose an eye?
Yeah. Young Indiana
Yeah.
Jones Chronicles.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would put it back into the canon.
Yeah. I kind of am doubting it, and also as much as I love everything about young Indy, I don't know that I want to see Indy lose an eye, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah. Let's see, Jeff in the
Disney
chat.
too, so
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say that it's Disney, and I don't think they'll really go that.
Right. Let's see, I said, let me just, here. We got a few people here. We got Jeff and Potato Man and Indiana Jones Hanger in the chat. Potato Man was saying, that was about Boys from Brazil. But Jeff says, at the end of the movie, Indy will save everything but gets stuck into the time field, going back in time to the beginning of creation. Turns out Indy is the atom of humanity. What do you think about that?
That makes it seem like the chosen ones.
That's an interesting idea. Do you think Indy will, where do you think Indy will end up at the end of the movie? Even in terms of a character or anything? Or time travel or whatever?
I like to think that he'd make it out, like riding the Sunset Crusade style, but
Yeah.
Hopefully not what Doomcock says.
Oh, I don't even watch those videos anymore. Yeah, I don't. What did he say? I don't even know. Was it that the one that he like, Phoebe Waller-Bridge becomes the new Indy, right?
Like, she literally becomes Indy, meaning that she will take his place in the past, and the credit sequence would be her redoing all the old movies with his cut on. And of course, where's Indiana Jones? He disappeared from existence. That's what Doomcock thinks.
Yeah, when I heard that scared the shit out of me.
It scared me.
Yeah, same.
Well, several years ago, I I had this crazy idea, which was that, and it slightly reminds me of the Doomcock theory, very slightly. But my idea is that I would be playing a character in Indiana Jones 5, who's like the young character, and then Indy, of course, is like the old character who has all the knowledge, and Indy is like dying and on his deathbed, and but his knowledge is like so important to saving like my tribe or whatever, that I use some sort of like supernatural artifact to like switch like our souls or whatever. So like Indy basically comes into my body, so like I become Indy, and then and then I do all the good stuff. But I was like, oh, what a great idea, but then this idea of his came out and everyone hates it, so I think it's probably not that great an idea after all.
I will say something that did remind me. It was from the Hasbro live stream that happened. I think it was 2 days ago. And they released Helena's last name, which is Shaw, and I guess that kind of just eliminates the fact that she's a Brody, unless she's married, of course. But I'm not too sure. I wanted to see,
Yeah,
I was
think
thinking
you're right.
who was the one guy?
He
that
doesn't
we
seem
showed-
like the married type.
Yeah. Who was the one guy we saw in the set photo, like the early ones? I'm blanking on his name. I think he was in
Toby
Captain
Jones?
America. Yeah, Toby Jones. I was thinking maybe she's like his daughter or something.
Right.
possibly.
I thought the same, yeah. And I still
I
do.
thought some, right?
Actually,
Can you see that in?
no, go ahead and then I'll talk. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was in a plot leak where Indy was having an argument with Toby Jones's character Basil, and she was there as like a young little girl supposedly. I saw that in a plot leak somewhere, so it could be her father.
Right, that was scouting information. They were looking for a house in Oxford to shoot that scene, and they had pictures, and we want the house to look like this, and it had a description, and it was exactly what you said, essentially. But I actually made a video the other day, a few weeks ago. There's an actress on IMDb, a child actress. Her name is Imogen Inman, a British child actress, and she's listed in the credits as child. And so I made a video. I was speculating. I think this is the young version of the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character that was described in this scene. And somebody posted a comment on my channel, and I have no idea if this is fake or not, but they said, you are correct about what you said about Imogen Inman. She is a friend of mine, and she told me that she is playing like the child character, the child version of like a main character in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it sounds like a very source, but
Yeah.
I would believe it though. It sounds believable, but
Yeah. And you never really know, of course, but yeah, it sounds believable. But
I can kind of see how it would go down too. Like, what if Toby Jones dies in like the intro adventure, and then Indy feels obligated to take care of Helena?
yeah. And you know, one thing.
well, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going along with him.
One thing that I kind of want to talk about as we go through this stream here is the sequence of events of this movie. And, you know, of course I have a video playing that all of you at home can see the video on the screen there, which is my version of what I think the sequence of events is going to be. But we have that scene that we mentioned, that we were just talking about, which is Indy goes to Oxford, and Toby Jones is there, and we think the young version of the Phoebe Waller-Bridge character. So, but where in the story, in the runtime of the film, do you think that scene takes place? I want to ask you guys.
Probably after the 1944 train sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, my initial thought was that Indy like goes there first in order to like recruit Basil, but more recently, I was thinking though maybe that's not the case. Like maybe I think the movie will open with the World War II segment. I think we all agree the film starts with the World War II, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is gonna be really cool. I forget what I was gonna ask.
What do you guys? Okay.
No, go ahead. Yeah, let's hear what you guys.
Okay. I just wanted to ask, what do you guys think about like the cast with Matt Mikkelsen as the villain?
Dude, hell yeah.
I love Lasheen.
Dude, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I am half Danish, and he's Danish, so I'm really glad to see a Danish actor become like a really big part of the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
Isn't he also the second Bond actor to be an Indiana Jones villain?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah, wasn't Walter Donovan
Yeah.
from a James Bond movie?
Yeah, and I like somebody had put it in a really interesting way, which was that allegedly many years ago he was one of the guys who auditioned for the role of James Bond, but he didn't get the part. But then he got to drag Roger Moore's James Bond through water with sharks, and then he got to shoot Sean Connery, so he got his revenge for not getting the part. What do you guys think about the Donovan figure that was revealed the other day?
I think it has everything that it needs to have. All the accessories are there. It seems like the perfect type of Walter Donovan figure. Of course, I don't expect kids to go out and buy a Walter Donovan figure. I expect people like adult collectors to buy that for stuff like that. But
Right.
I think like having Trail and then like him like rapidly aging head was like perfect. Them having that head and then also like the tote head melting, that was such a good accessory to add.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah, I'm surprised they went there too. I didn't think they'd actually do the death versions of them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I also was surprised that Donovan got a figure at all, to be honest. Yeah, hopefully they keep going with this line and they have like tons of characters getting that treatment. Hopefully.
Some Star ones too.
Yeah. Like I thought
but
Vogel or Elsa probably would have been a better choice than Donovan, but if they had Donovan, then that surely means they have confidence in this line and they'll make a third wave with more characters from that movie.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of room for that stuff too, and they can even kind of like how for Star Wars they're kind of doing expanded universe stuff. Maybe they can do it for Indy if they feel it's profitable enough.
Possible.
I don't know if you guys saw an article, and it was from Giant Freaking Robot, who's like the worst website and always lies and stuff. But they were saying that they're developing a cartoon for Indiana Jones.
Hope if they ever do develop a cartoon, I really like that animation, that short little video on YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't know what the animator is, but it's really nice. Looks really good. I hope it's in that animation.
Patrick Schoenmacher.
Yeah, and did an excellent job.
Yeah, Indy needs to be a hand-drawn animation. I don't want any of like the Clone Wars or like Camp Cretaceous style of animation at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think animation fits Indy very well, like that style.
Well, somebody in the chat, Lezigo, says Mickelson will have been the third actor to have been in both Indy and Bond. That's actually not true. There have been at least 10 actors, I would say, because Elsa from Last Crusade was in A View to a Kill. John Rhys Davies was in The Living Daylights. Vogel, a guy who played Vogel, was in Tomorrow Never Dies as a ship captain. Like there's tons, honestly, and that's something people have always talked about is the sheer number of links between the two franchises. You guys like James Bond?
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, Sean Connery is my favorite.
same.
Yeah. He's the best.
It's only fitting to have Indy's father be James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a story I think that we've all heard. We've all watched the interviews with Spielberg talking about it. Yeah. Sorry, I cut someone off. No, that's not. Well, let's see. What else are you guys thinking about Indiana Jones 5?
I just hope that it's just like a good movie, like just like a flat out, just you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be all this extra stuff. I hope they just start out just making just a solid movie, and as long as they do that, I think they'll succeed very well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm really excited about the flashbacks in the beginning of the movie.
Yes. I think that alone is worth the price of admission. Man,
Yeah.
I'd watch that part like on loop over and over. I'm so excited.
Like, I have like a thought that Mangold in that opening scene is probably going to try to make it feel most like a Steven Spielberg movie as possible. And then I have a feeling that once he starts getting into the the more modern times is when he starts using his own directing style. If you understand what I mean.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So it's gonna be like sort of a mix of like the beginnings kind of different in the style. That's interesting.
Yeah, like in the like the tone is a lot more different in the beginning. Making it feel like more of like one of those original trilogy Indiana Jones movies, and then kind of leaning more towards. I'm not really sure. I think what Mangold said, Hero at Sunset, it's going to try to be more like that in the second half or the rest of the movie. That's
Yeah.
just what I.
Like, how dark do you guys think it's gonna be? Because Logan was really dark.
No, it's not gonna be dark. It's a Disney movie.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Well, if I
nobody
know-
gonna have
if
their
I
heart
know-
pulled out?
Maybe.
You know what?
Maybe.
You know what? Every movie has a creepy crawler. What's going to be the creepy animal in this movie? I'm thinking the eels you see in the underwater scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be it, but it doesn't hit as hard as the bugs. The bugs, sometimes I just can't look. It's gross.
Right. A lot of people had been saying early on that one of the best one that hasn't been done is bees. But I don't like. We have no evidence of anything regarding bees at all in this. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like bees, so I would be like squirming in my seat, but it'd be cool to see.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that the location that they're at would really call for bees, though. So I wouldn't really think that that's.
Right.
Eels would make sense, though.
Well, they
Well,
go.
eels are like underwater snakes. So,
Yeah. That's why it's interesting.
What's Indy's opinion on underwater snakes? Are they the same or?
Yes, underwater snakes, but not. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I was thinking, what if he actually did get over the fear of snakes after all these years?
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if he's like, oh, I'm not scared of snakes anymore.
well, he was scared of them in Crystal Skull.
Yeah,
But that was in
freaking out.
1967. This is 1969, my boy.
I think the only way, and this feels like it would be a comedy, the only way that you could get Indy to overcome his fear of snakes is that he would be hypnotized. And that leads to other possible plot possibilities.
Oh yeah. Maybe
Yes.
after the aliens.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, but his mind was already controlled by the skull before the scene
Yeah.
with that giant snake, though.
I was talking about that earlier about the crystal skull. Who was I talking about with that crystal skull plot element? Who
Yeah,
was
you
it?
were talking to me about it.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
talking.
and me.
Yeah, I was talking to both of y'all earlier about the crystal skull, and I actually never noticed it before. But when Oxley is essentially an alien speaking, he like the aliens are speaking through him, which was very interesting. And then the only way Indy was able to understand is when after he stared at the skull, and you could actually notice that nobody else really. I mean, nobody else really understands what he's saying. They kind of keep repeating, like, oh, what is he saying? 3 times it drops. Indy seems that entire time seems to know what he's talking about after the fact that he stared at the skull. So I found it to be really cool that the aliens were speaking through Oxley and he was kind of a guide. And a lot of people didn't seem to understand that, so it was very interesting. I kind of changed a few opinions based on telling people that, and they thought it was pretty cool. But I don't know if they'll do that again. Yeah.
It reminds me of Nurab Sal from the Fate of Atlantis, although like not quite on the same level.
Yeah, like she was fully possessed by Nurab Sal, Sophia, but I think that Oxley had just a little bit of consciousness. He was like conscious, but he wasn't driving, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's almost like Oxley was more willing to speak to the aliens, while Sophia was kind of forced.
Yeah, with a deep voice.
Yeah.
Speaking of King of the Crystal Skull, what do you guys think we're going to find out about Mutt Williams?
Vietnam.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll die in Vietnam, but I think he'll just be drafted or maybe go over willingly, but I don't think he'll die.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, seems like that's unanimous then.
I mean, it also would be satisfying if he was out going to school, getting a degree, since that would kind of lead back into Crystal Skull, and he's like, you're going to school.
Do you guys think the I forget I think the character's name was Charles Stanforth? He was like the dean, Indy's dean in the last movie. Do you think he'll be back?
It's likely not.
No.
Yeah. I have a feeling that he's probably gonna either have that role since was he an assistant dean or an associate dean? One of those two. But I have a feeling that he'd probably be the dean of whatever school he's at. But still teaching, of course, as we see in the trailer, he's teaching a lecture in an auditorium. So.
Yeah.
Oh, and Indy's in a different classroom, right? So it might not be the same university.
We were talking about that. We were talking about we've come to the conclusion that Barnett College and Marshall College are the same thing. We're not really too sure. We just kind of came with that conclusion, but it honestly it could be Marshall College because we do see scenes of Indy in New York, of course. It might just be renovated, or it just could be a completely different classroom. That's just what I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense it'd be renovated from like the 1930s, you know?
Yeah.
What about Sala? What do you think Sala's role in all this is?
I think he's a cameo. I don't think he's much more. I think he's a cameo for like half an hour and then he's gone.
Yeah, for like that one scene when I'm pretty sure that scene that he's in probably most likely takes place at the Cairo airport, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it has like New York style taxis is what I've been told, and I mean I don't know how different they would be, but a lot of people I talked to had said that they thought he was in New York. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I could be. It could possibly be in New York, but I wouldn't be surprised if they've already made the road more modern in the late 60s, early 70s at that time.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I think Sala will just kind of be the kickstart for the adventure. Like, Sala will go to Indy and say, hey, listen, how about we do, you do one more left in you, and that's kind of what kickstarts it all. like Sala finds out about what the Nazis are doing or whatever, and he like enlists Indy for help, tries to get him to help him out.
So what? So let's talk about Phoebe Waller-Bridge a little bit then. What do you think her role in all this is, and what do you predict for her character?
I feel that she's going to be a little bit of like a toned down Laura Croft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like too badass, but like maybe like just like a couple of steps below. Like a mixture between I don't think she'll ever be a damsel in distress in this movie. I think they're going to try going for more of a action heavy, strong feminine character. So I'm pretty sure she's going to be a mixture of Marion and Laura Croft, but not too much Laura Croft, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I was also
Aren't
thinking.
the...
Sorry.
No, talk you first.
Okay. I was thinking, like I said before, maybe what if Toby Hooper's character dies in like the in the prologue of the movie? So what if like she has some like slight resentment for Indy because she got her father killed? Because I remember that one part in the trailer, she's all like, we're like mildly related, whatever. It's almost like she doesn't always follow Indy around all the time.
True, maybe.
I don't think it's that so much. I think it's more that like their way of doing things clash. Like Indy is going to be like direct and brash, and Helena is going to be like, you know, try to negotiate with these guys. That was my kind of interpretation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out the whip, and then everything goes terribly.
Yeah, it's a funny scene. And Anthony and Gruber is in that scene. You guys see him in there?
Yeah.
He's to the far left side.
Yeah.
Wearing a nice suit.
Do you guys think Anthony and Gruber should take over for Indy one day?
I think that they could do something with him. He looks too much like Harrison Ford. It's kind of wild. So
yeah.
I think that there could be potential projects with him in the future. But you know, as we've seen, it seems like people don't really want Indiana Jones to get replaced. But if there was anybody that would, I would think it would be him, because I don't know, like every time I see one of his, like whenever he does his like impressions, like it's almost as if his face can morph into the person that he's doing an impersonation of. Like his Jack Torrance impersonation is incredible. Like he morphs his face to look like Jack Nicholson so perfectly, and especially when he does Harrison Ford, he can do that pretty well. So I mean, I have faith that he could play a good Indiana Jones. I'm just not sure how the general public would think of that, and especially Steven Spielberg, since he's not really big of a fan of the idea of replacing Indy.
Well, I think Anthony Ingruber would be used. I think it was already in the movie. Like, this is just a prediction, but you know how the Mandalorian they had Luke Skywalker, you know, and they had the body double, and then they had actual Mark Hamill. I think they probably used him for something like that, where they transplanted Ford's face on Anthony Gruber for the flashback scenes. I think that's what they could use him for.
Could be.
Yeah. Well, I think that they did use Ford as well, because I think it was one of the early set photos where it's Ford and Toby Jones standing out in a field, and it clearly looks like it takes place after the train sequence. So I think that they actually did use a little bit of Ford in those early scenes, especially that scene when he's on the train in the trailer. I have a feeling that is actually Ford doing the acting, but with the aging on his face.
Right. Let's see. Has someone's asking, has Karen Allen been confirmed as Marion? She hasn't been officially confirmed, but I've been told that she is in the film at least. You guys probably think she's just gonna be like a little cameo only, probably, right?
Yeah, around the same as Saw.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe be in the beginning and then maybe be at the end.
Yeah, I'm happy that they're both coming back. They're awesome. Do you guys think we'll be getting any other, what do you call it, legacy characters?
Hopefully short round.
Yeah, hopefully.
That'd be perfect.
At least mentioned or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be. I'm doubtful because it doesn't. Because based on Ki Kwan's comments about like having not seen Harrison Ford for so long, I feel like he's probably not. But man, I would love to see Short Round back.
Worse.
Yeah.
Are you guys down for a short round Disney Plus show?
Oh,
Yep.
completely.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think that would be really cool.
I think that's the best way for the franchise to like have like move forward. With thing. The Friends show would be beyond perfect.
Mm-hmm. Just adjusting my screen here a little bit. That's a little better. What else? So,
What else?
oh yeah. Sorry, I heard myself. I didn't know if was someone else talking or that was just me, right? I think that was just me. So we have this big parade sequence. And what do you guys think about the parade sequence?
Seems like it's going to be some classic Indiana Jones action. It seems like he gets into a fight with some guys, and then it seems like it's a parade horse because the saddle that he has on seems to be like colorful. That's on the horse, so it seems like he's probably stolen a parade horse in the heat of a moment. And really sure what it was. It seemed like this small little carousel thing. I'm not really too sure what that has to do with the. It possibly could be taking place of the headpiece of the Staff of Ra, like one of those artifacts that are like the MacGuffin to get to the big MacGuffin, if you know what I'm saying. And that probably seems like a big action set piece that probably has that thing being thrown around, and it so happens to take place in the middle of the parade. So seems like it's going to be a pretty fun action scene.
Are you talking about the clock? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, that little clock. I called it a carousel. Yeah, this little clock thing that he's holding around. Yeah, I think it's probably that's probably going to be the plot device for that scene.
And it's interesting because we obviously have like a lot of ex-Nazi characters in this movie, but they're mixed in with, we think, the CIA, and we can see that Shauna Renee Wilson is playing a character who seems to be the CIA handler, but she has a lot of ex-Nazis under her. How do you guys think that's all gonna work out?
I could see Kleber being that one of the like a secret Nazi character that works. Well, of course he's going to be working under Voller, but I could definitely see him being one of those people. Him and Hawk.
Man, Hawk is going to be a great successor to Pat Roach. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
That guy is huge. I've seen him in person, like a literal giant.
Wow. How'd you meet him? How'd you see him, I guess?
I was at a convention, and basically just like a bodybuilding convention one time, and he was there, and there was you could see him standing out from the crowd. I mean, it's like whenever you see Shaq somewhere, and he's just like, there's a bunch of people below him, and then you just see one person that's standing above. That's literally how it was. It was crazy. The guy's gonna be huge. I do not know how Indiana Jones is gonna take him on. But what I did notice in the trailer though with Hawk was that it seems like in an underwater sequence he was handcuffed to something, and then you see like some sort of rocket bursting up underwater, which I still think is the most mysterious shot in the trailer, and I'm not really too sure what it means, but
yeah, I'm picking my head over that one too.
Yeah.
I guess they're not going to kill him with brute force.
No.
And another kind of mystery from the trailer is that we see a scene in the cave scene, and it looks like old Indy's hands finding presumably the Dial of Destiny, but then is that the same one from the scene with Toby Jones earlier? Like, how does that all work out?
I have a feeling, and this is just my own rumor, but I have a feeling that the Dial of Destiny is going to be a mixture of all those items. It's going to be something that put together.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Or maybe
There's
those
too
are
many-
like.
Like I said, there's too many little artifacts that are around for it, like, you know, just for them, like I said, just to be plot devices to get to the main MacGuffin. I have a feeling that these parts are all scattered around and something needs to be constructed with all these parts.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that.
Or maybe they're like keys in a way, and like the dial is like an actual like big room where you could like presumably time travel, and those are like keys or objects to get there. Like, yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, and possibly make like the part where Indy is picking up what we think is the Dial of Destiny is probably the most important piece, because it does look very important.
Let's see what else. We have the young character. Oh man. The boy with curly hair. I'm blacking out his name right now.
Eddie.
Ethan.
Oh, I'm talking about his character name. I don't remember his real name.
Oh yeah. The rumor, according to Jared, was that the character's name is Teddy. That's right. So what do you guys think about that character?
Probably Antonio Banderas' son. It's possible.
Yeah, that guy is just a total blank. He could literally be anyone, you know.
My theory is that he either steals something from Indy, or, you know, for some reason comes to help them after what I think is an auction scene, because you notice he's in that scene, right?
Right.
Yeah. I don't think that he's Antonio Banderas' son, because it seems like Antonio Banderas is like really excited to see Indy, but he's like totally, the other kid is like totally irrelevant to him. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
He might be the driver of the tuk-tuk, but I don't think that's really true since he's, you know, in the auction scene. So he really could be anyone at this point.
Yeah. And he obviously, based on somebody who was on the set, or near the set, they overheard dialogue, and it was made it sound that he had been kidnapped. This character, so he obviously knows something. He must be some sort of person of value, but yeah, we really don't know. Excuse me. Right now. Well, I live in Orange County, California here, and there's actually an intersection a few minutes away from my house of two streets named Antonio and Banderas. So I'm always excited about that, and for that and other reasons, I'm excited that Antonio Banderas is in that movie. I'm sure you guys were really excited to hear about him being in the film, right?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, for sure.
I didn't see it coming at all, so it's a nice surprise.
Do you guys what do you guys think? Do you think that his character is going to die for Indy, as he kind of mentioned?
Maybe. I could see it happening.
Yeah, maybe because he's supposed to be like a ship captain. I think that's what I've heard. So he's like a Katanga kind of guy.
Right.
A little bit like that. Yeah, he's definitely the one that causes them to go underwater. That's for sure, because we see that in the set photos.
So maybe it's like Katanga, where like, you know, he like covers for Indy or something. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised that Indy has friends like literally in every part of the world, so he's definitely one of those
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said something kind of funny that they said he is Katanga, like Katanga's been recast or something, which I thought was really funny.
That would have been interesting if they. Well, I love Antonio Banderas. I like how he's in this movie, but that would have been an interesting way to bring Katanga back as well, if they so wanted to.
Yeah, that's actually that would have been really cool if it was if they brought that actor back to play Katanga as opposed to the Antonio Banderas character, because I love, I don't know, I love all those little characters of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like Jock is the other one that I
Oh,
was
yeah.
would love to see back in some way. Very interesting.
That's crazy because I didn't know that they made an entire restaurant based off Jock in
Yeah.
Walt Disney World.
Yeah,
I didn't
isn't
know
that so
about
cool?
Yeah,
And the you guys know the backstory of that actor. He was like an actual pilot who was helping them scout locations for the movie. I'm sure you knew that, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And then another story is that he actually played a small. Well, he didn't play, but when they were filming Jurassic Park 3, he flew to wherever they were in Hawaii to kind of rescue the crew from like a storm. Also, so he was involved in 2 Spielberg movies.
Wow.
It is in Jurassic Park. That's cool.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do we have here? How about Harrison Ford? Let's talk about Harrison Ford a little bit, because I know a lot of like casual fans have made comments and are saying that they think Ford is too old to be playing this role. So let's have a conversation about this here. If you guys want to chime in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really think he'll be too old to play him as long as they do it realistically. I think it would actually kind of raise the stakes in a way where, I'm not as young as I used to be, but I can still, do what I need to do. I think that would almost raise the stakes.
I want to say that Ford will. I mean, I'm certain that Ford is the. He should go in like the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest action lead in an action movie, right? I'm pretty sure there's never been anybody at his age in a major action movie like this.
I could definitely I definitely have faith in Ford. He seems to be in great shape. I mean, everybody says that he rides bicycles like for hours and hours. So
Yeah.
I definitely think that Harrison Ford is in pretty good shape for the role. And I don't know. I guess people just saying that he's old is just because, well, yeah. I mean, he is old. He is 80. But if he can do it and he can do it well, then that's really all that matters.
And so, how about we talk about the ending of the movie, like the last act of the movie? Does anyone have any predictions of what you think's gonna be going on?
I kind of mentioned it before, but I think it would be cool if, say, if it was time travel, if like the machine didn't really ever work right. So they have like all the Nazis all ready to go back, and they think is 1939 or whatever, and they all march in, and it's like some great battle, like in like the ancient Roman times, and they all just like get wiped out. I think that'd be really cool.
That would be great.
Like once again, the power of the artifact is defeating them in a different way.
Right.
Yeah.
Just wait, the movie will come out and it's like not time travel at all. And we'll be like, totally shocked.
That would be an amazing troll. Well, we can. I guess I'll open a floor to you guys if you have any other specific thoughts on Indiana Jones 5 you want to share before we could talk about some other stuff after that, and then we'll wrap up the stream. So maybe Fizzy, if you have anything that's been on your mind about this movie.
No, I think we have like talked about like all the specific thoughts that I had in
Yeah.
my head with like the actors Harrison Ford and Mads Mikkelsen, the last act, and and the flashbacks, of course. Have we talked about like the underwater scenes
Oh
that's
yeah,
coming?
we could talk about that. We mentioned it briefly that like we're not sure because it's like sort of a mystery, a few of those shots. But yeah, what do you guys think about that?
I like the idea because we haven't seen like Indy really underwater in like an indie movie.
Yeah.
If I'm yeah, so would be like nice.
Yeah. And I've always been a huge fan of Fate of Atlantis. So if they can bring
Yeah,
back
same here.
Fate of Atlantis vibes, oh yeah, I would be so happy.
And in the trailer, in that shot, a few of those underwater shots, it looked like it was the boat which we had seen in the ancient Sicily scene. So it's possible that there may be something that they're gonna see the same boat like in two completely different situations, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
I love it when time travel movies do stuff like that. Does anyone else have anything about Indy 5 that we missed?
I just want like to ask, but what do you guys think about like what are they looking for underwater?
Definitely one of the parts to the Dial of Destiny. I really do think that the Dial of Destiny is something that needs to be constructed. There's just, as far as I can see, there's just too many little artifacts for it to be one object. So I think it's probably one of the parts to the Dial of Destiny to get it to work.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Infernal Machine a little bit, where he had to go and find all the parts to the machine.
It could be possibly taking some inspiration from that, building some sort of machine, because based off what we've seen from the artifacts and the props, the dial looks very ancient and mechanical, so it could very well be a machine.
Yeah. You know, there's that one shot in the trailer where, remember, it was the plane scene. At least it looked like a plane. It was like that light in the middle. Maybe that could be the machine working.
Perhaps.
You know, like maybe it opens like a big, huge portal after you collect the machine.
Wasn't it like that scene that looked like the Falcon from Star Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay. Yeah.
thinking it kind of looks like the plane that Hasbro just released. You know, the one where it's like Volar. Like that.
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that might be the plane.
Right.
So do you think that the machine is going to like work only with like a plane?
Well, no, I'm just saying. I think it's gonna be a huge portal, and they're gonna like fly into it or like.
Oh. Oh
into
yeah.
it. Like, I think that would be such a cool thing to do.
Oh, okay. So I'm like reviewing the trailer a little bit, and I kind of found like something that I'm not really too sure about. Indy is in a sidecar with the motorcycle. Who is he riding with?
Like a villain, I think. I think that he's like kind of.
Is he like
along
fighting
for
him
the
at the
ride.
same?
I think he's fighting him at the same time. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? I'm not sure.
Probably, he probably is fighting this guy at the same time. Well, it doesn't seem like he's in control of things on that motorcycle. I mean, he swings his head from the side all the way back up, so
Yeah.
it seems like he's in control. So he's probably fighting that guy.
Because it doesn't look like it's Toby Jones, and there's a scene, there's photographs of young Indy riding a motorcycle by himself as well. So it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are we sure that the like motorcycle scene where you just see from the behind, like with the swinging hair and the plane, are we sure that that's actually Indy?
I think that's Helena.
Well, no, there's this is something separate. You would have to look on my videos, but there's an actual scene Yeah, there was something that was shot, and some photographer got pictures, and it's a stuntman wearing a young Harrison Ford mask, and this was like the very first thing that we saw of young Indy.
Oh yeah, right. I
yeah.
think I saw that video.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
I was thinking of some. Yeah,
Man,
I thought he was talking about with Helena on the motorcycle chasing after the plane on the runway.
Right. That's the other one. Yeah.
that's another thing the Hasbro had. It had Helena on a motorcycle, so that maybe that'll be kind of her vehicle, kind of like Mutt.
True.
But they were careful to change the background of their artwork to like Morocco. If you guys noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, the tuk tuk.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
Just looking over the trailer to find out some shots.
I'm gonna do the same.
Actually, really liked the mega trailer you did, Kevin.
Thanks. Yeah, I have it playing on the live stream.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that scene in the caves where Indy and Helena seem to take a stick and move Atlas Boulder off the hands of a statue of Atlas. I have a feeling that scene is going to be very similar to the cave dwelling scene from when they're in the graveyard in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I just get a lot of feelings of that.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely get that vibe. Yeah, it seems like it's coming somewhere sort of in the middle of the movie, and it's Indy and like the new like young adventurer. Yeah, definitely very similar vibes.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to pinpoint what exactly this rocket is that is shooting underwater. Not really too sure.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably something that they use to, it's like something to rapidly go to the surface. So probably like they find whatever artifact and they use that, like, it's I don't know, maybe if we ask someone who knows about scuba diving, they're like, oh yeah, that's the Bolton 757, everyone knows about that. But I don't know, it's probably something like that, like for maybe safety reasons or something, like in case there's a shark, like you can get out of there really fast.
Yeah, it seems like this is where Hawk is gonna die. I mean, he doesn't seem like he's gonna survive this. He's handcuffed to something underwater without any
Right.
oxygen.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a spoiler shot to put in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is,
Unless it's like a fake out and he like somehow makes it out.
Well,
Possibly.
he's strong,
I'm
dude.
looking-
Yeah, I bet he can break that chain.
I'm looking at the part when they gonna go up. It looks like they're almost clutching onto a box. If you look.
Like Hawk was, you
Yeah.
said?
No, not Hawk. I'm sorry. Like when they're rocketing up,
Oh, okay.
it's like they're retrieving something. Like they find like a crate, like maybe like the Roman, like say if it was a Roman ship or something. Maybe they were transporting an object and Indy finds it in a little crate and he like zoops it back up with them or something.
Let's see. Oh, I'm at the part in the beginning of the trailer right here. I'm starting to notice that a lot of the extras seem to be wearing more of a 70s-esque clothes rather than 60s, just to show that it's just the turn of like the decade.
Yeah.
I can like see even his students look like they seem to be wearing more so 70s clothes. So that's going to be interesting to see, a different time period.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they kind of play into that too. Like there's kind of like a Vietnam protest. It looks like in the parade.
Yeah, it seems like a mixture.
Yeah, I think that'd be cool because that was one of my favorite parts about Crystal Skull. How they kind of like played into the Cold War stuff, like in the U.S. So I think that'd be a really cool thing to do.
Man, that's one busy city. They have a Apollo 11 parade and a Vietnam protest going on at the same time.
Yeah. Well, maybe they like want to target the Apollo 11 parade because then they'd get a lot of eyes on them.
Good point. Yeah.
Feeling. I wonder. Like Indiana Jones seems to be wearing like a Nazi uniform, of course. I wonder he does change into his regular clothes afterwards, I think. Not
My
really.
kind of understanding is that he is going to get on the train and his gear is there on the train and he's going to change into it there. Which is kind of, I'm wondering, uh, the whole sequence of events, because, like, how did his stuff get on the train? Maybe the train, like, the first scene is on the train and then they go to the castle and he gets captured there and then they go back to the train. That's something I've been
Right.
thinking of.
And I think I have a little bit of evidence for that because there's a shot which I think is presumably Indy in the Nazi uniform running on top of the train, and I believe in the inside of the cars it does seem like a passenger car. So yeah, it wouldn't be too far off to think that he probably did arrive there from the train.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
And if you look in the part when he's picking up his hat, like right before the music ramps up, like it looks like he's on a train car. He's in his Nazi uniform. You can see the pocket on the side.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah, I see.
yeah.
And the close up, I looked at it really closely when I was doing this mega trailer. If you look at the scene, the close up of all his gear when he goes to pick it up, if you look in the background, you can see the movement of, like, the background, that as if you're on a train. Like, it was pretty clear to me when I looked at it, like, frame by frame.
What if
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it is moving.
you know what would be cool what if he like gets on the train in his regular like indie stuff, and then what if he steals the uniform from the guy on top of the train?
Mm-hmm. Probably something like that, yeah.
I mean, it seems like when they take the bag off his head, there's like a fireplace in the background. It might still be at the castle before it gets attacked, and then it just seems like they just throw the bag over his head and get him out of there, and we see that shot of them, like those two soldiers escorting them as like the castle's under attack. So I guess what they're gonna do is they're gonna he's going to be captured at the castle. Then they're going to, interrogate him. Then they're going to throw the bag over his head again, and then take him on the train to try to escape with all the precious valuables and stuff like that. And then that's where he makes his escape.
That could be. Or what if he uses the train to get in and get out? Like, what if it's like a round trip, like a supply train? Like, he gets in on the train initially, and he uses that to get in the castle, gets captured, and then escapes on the same train back. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem like they do get off at some point and get very wet, because of those set photos that we saw.
Right.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
Definitely the highlight of the movie.
but who's playing that Nazi that he's fighting on top of the train? That's not.
It's
What's
Thomas
his name? Is it
Kretschmann.
Yeah, so that's was that Baron von Strucker?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Except here he's called Colonel Weber. Or Major Weber.
Colonel Weber.
Something Weber, yeah.
Oh wait, is he actually Strucker? I thought you were kidding.
No. That's just who he plays in Avengers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't even know. I thought you were joking. That's cool.
No. He actually he plays him in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I thought you were just calling him Baron von Strucker because we don't know his name. I didn't know that you had a name. That's cool.
No, this actor, he's, like, renowned for playing Nazis. He's played Nazis in, like, at least 12 films. Yeah, like The Pianist, so many. Yeah.
That's an interesting title.
Yeah, so as soon as he was cast, like, everybody was speculating, oh, does this mean the Nazis are back? And yep, it was the case. Yep.
He seems like he's only going to be in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna stick to that. I think they'll like beat him up and then like take his uniform to sneak in.
Yeah. Then he gets his hand whipped.
I disagree because
Oh wait, now I know what you mean, because as far as we can see, based off of what we've seen in the trailer, we can tell that he's wearing the uniform before he puts on the outfit, so I'm thinking he probably stole the uniform from someone else.
right, yeah, that's what I thought. unless my understanding of the sequence of events is all wrong, then you could be right.
Yeah.
But no, I think
mean,
he's gonna
trailers-
be like throughout this entire segment of the World War II part.
Yeah, I could be totally wrong. That's cool. I'm just.
Wait, I found something. I found something in the trailer.
What's up?
It seems like Indy punches a guy in a car, a Nazi soldier in the car in the flashback. So he probably could steal the uniform from that guy.
But it looks like Indy's already dressed as a Nazi in that scene, though, isn't he?
I got it. It's a really quick shot. Just got to make
Quick,
sure.
yeah.
I can get in Photoshop and like brighten it if I need.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see it. Yeah, if you look at his shoulders, he does have those like metal things on his arm, on his shoulders. So he might already be in the costume.
Isn't it interesting that Indy disguises himself as a Nazi in every one of those movies, and like every video game where he fights the Nazis, he does that as well?
Yeah, and he like it's always conveniently like perfectly shaped. Like,
Yeah.
his body.
I love that scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark when he goes to put it on and it doesn't fit. That's so funny. It's like,
So
Yeah,
good.
then he's sizing up the next guy. Like, oh, is this the right size? Like,
give me your clothes.
I remember I used to know what that German said to him. He's like, "You look like a pig at your tribunal," something like that.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah,
it's-
I hear him say swine, so I figure something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Like, you would look like a pig at your tribunal, something like that. It was so funny.
I had a feeling if Indy didn't beat him up, he would have just taken him to the back room and just gave him a new outfit.
Ah.
He probably just thought he was like a soldier,
He's just a stupid guy that's not on the clock.
conscript.
Have you guys ever read Indiana Jones and the Tomb of the Gods? It's like a comic from 2009.
No.
Because I love the Indiana Jones comics. Like when I got really into Indiana Jones, like 20 odd years ago, that was like the first thing I did is I bought all of the old comics and I read them. And so I've always been like dying for more, and I was so excited when they made that because it was like, oh man, hopefully now they're gonna keep making them. But that was like pretty much the only one they made. And you know, I'm really hoping that they're gonna keep making more Indiana Jones comics. You know, hopefully Marvel announces something at some point here. But I remember thinking that it was a little like when I was a kid. Maybe I thought it was just okay, but I went back and I was surprised. I actually thought it was really cool. It had some cool stuff. There's like a scene where they're stranded in the ocean and there's like sharks, so that's like the scene of like that's like the dangerous animal scene, and they had a lot of cool stuff in there.
So I think I know what you're talking.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah.
I think that what's like an art piece of it shows like Indiana Jones like tied to like a chain underwater. I think I've seen that artwork before somewhere.
Let me see, a chain underwater. That might be Spear of Destiny. Like
okay, yeah, that's Spear of Destiny.
His hands are behind his back, right?
Yeah, I thought that was something like.
Yeah. Actually, that's my favorite Indiana Jones comic is Spear of Destiny because it's like sort of a sequel to Last Crusade in a way because it has like a few of the characters from that movie in it and similar themes and stuff.
I might want to pick that one up. I love Crusades, so.
Yeah, it's great, and they did an interesting job researching their the legends and kind of mixing legends a little bit to come up with something pretty interesting. And the artwork I thought is really good. So that's definitely like the first one that I recommend for people is Spear of Destiny.
It still stays in with that Christianity aspect since it's the Spear of Longus.
Mm-hmm.
So you would see why Indy's father would probably accompany him on that adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this old comic as a kid. Here it is, Indiana Jones Adventures. There's this old, I didn't even read it, I just looked at the pretty pictures.
Yeah, I keep meaning to check it out. I've never read through it. Like, which it's like, oh, I'm so happy that there's an Indiana Jones comic I haven't read. So I always leave that as the one that's unread. But actually, maybe I will read it tonight.
I read the comic version of Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Mm-hmm.
and I found it really interesting how they kind of like change a lot of things in the beginning, especially when Indy actually when he comes across Forrestal's body and he actually takes it off of the spikes and kind of like lays him down to rest, kind of as a way to pay respects.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
yeah, it was kind of interesting. He's not really much of a character that we know too much about, but supposedly Indy and Forrestal kind of went on a couple of adventures
Oh, cool.
before his death. Yeah.
Forrestal actually did get a name drop in Tomb of the Gods that I was reading last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that
supposedly,
oh, go ahead.
yeah. Supposedly, him and Indy explored like a pagan temple.
Oh, cool. What was that from a book or what? Do you know anything about that?
Too sure. I was kind of like interested in reading about Forrestal since he's very obscure.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows, I would have to go back in the link to tell you exactly which book it's from, but eventually, like supposedly before the events of Raiders, like I'd say around 1934, Indy and Forrestal explored like a pagan temple somewhere in Europe. But it really emphasized the fact that they were kind of rivals, like Indy and Belloc, but not as much.
Mm. And Belloc was supposed to be in the lost episodes of Young Indiana Jones, that they were gonna have a few sort of adventures together too. I would have loved to see that, man.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see that relationship more fleshed out, and I guess make his death more impactful in Raiders.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the expanded universe, but it always felt to me like he was like used to be a friend of Indy and then just kind of turned to the dark side in a way.
Right.
Like, they don't know you the way I do, Belloc. Like, they have a history.
Right.
Yeah.
Like like we were talking about earlier, I could have Belloc, if the Americans got to him first about the Ark, that he probably would have helped them out. Like,
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't seem like he only allegiance to Nazis. I mean, we can clearly tell throughout the movie that he's not really too big of a fan of his employers. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just the highest bidder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to that. You were talking about the Marvel, the Raiders of the Lost Ark comic. I guess how did you? Well, I'll say this first. I guess George Lucas did not like the quality of the comic, and so he was like, I had read something about this like in an interview, because they were talking about when they made the Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, they were really trying to make sure it was like higher quality because they had that complaint. So how did you like that comic overall?
I mean, I think that the art was like, it wasn't the best art. I mean, they were still drawing Indiana Jones with a blue whip, which is kind of weird.
Oh.
But yeah, that was that time period when they when they were drawing Indy, and he didn't really look like Harrison Ford. But I think if you've watched Raiders of the Lost Ark as much as us, I mean, we literally know every line of dialogue in that movie. We're not joking. But
Yeah.
but when you read this comic and basically the same events are happening, it kind of gives you like a different insight on the story. There's a little bit of like dialogue changes. We of course have thought bubbles, so it gives you a little bit more of what the characters are thinking, and also there's also a like a narration as well. So it just gives you, I guess, more information on Raiders of the Lost Ark if you've seen the movies and you want to like read more. I found it very interesting. I didn't necessarily think it was a good comic per se. I mean, I think that the layout is a little bit like dated. It's not really too modern, but I mean, I would say if you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark many times and you just want to see a new way of how it's being told, I would say just give it a read. But definitely, if you want to read an Indiana Jones comic, I would say just go for Spear of Destiny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't read the adaptations of the movies in comic form in a long time, like 20 plus
Well, it's
years.
free.
Yeah.
It's free online. You could do it right
Yeah.
now if you wanted to.
Yeah, I know about that. That's how I was reading the one last night, just because I don't know where I put my copy of it.
Yeah, but the cover is really cool. I think instead of the classic Indiana Jones colors for the logo, I think it's in like green or something, and it kind of looks cool. So.
And you read it online, right? You don't have a physical copy?
No, I don't have a physical copy. The only physical copy I have is a hardcover of Spear of Destiny.
Hardcover? Are you talking about the omnibus?
I don't know. It's just a hardcover. It's not the omnibus. It's like a really well. It actually might be the omnibus. Actually, it's a really big book. I don't have it with me.
Like it's white.
I'll,
it's like a white book.
Yes. It's
okay.
White, yeah.
I have that one too. It's back here somewhere.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Nice. Do you guys have any kind of obscure or not like sort of semi-obscure or at least not super well known Indiana Jones stories that you recommend? Basically, like anything except for the movies, Fate of Atlantis and Spear of Destiny. What are other stories that you recommend?
The novels like White Witch, The Secret of the Sphinx, Dance of the Giants, not Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone. Those are like these little novels that are written that are basically Indiana Jones adventures. Not sure if they're canon, but definitely a good read if you're really into reading books.
Yeah, I haven't really read a lot of Indiana Jones books, but I play the games, so I would say Fate of Atlantis.
Or Fate of Atlantis.
And
what? Emperor's Tomb.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Oh yeah, Emperor's Tomb. Definitely it's still like a dated game, but definitely a really good Indiana Jones adventure game. I mean, the soundtrack in that game is like just like the movie. It's great.
I love that soundtrack.
Yeah.
I use it a lot.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
I've always liked the gameplay's not the best, but I always like the story of Staff of Kings and the music too.
Right.
Yeah, I just think it's a solid indie adventure.
And I found out like recently the main version of that game was being developed for Xbox, and it got canceled, I guess because of the like recession and stuff that was going on in around that era in like 2008. So the main version of that game never came out. So the one that was released for the Wii, that was like a secondary version. That wasn't even like the main one. And I never realized that until very recently I found out.
Yeah, I remember that because there was an old ad. I was on top of it. I think
2004.
Yeah, there was an old ad where it was like they were showing the ragdoll physics when that was brand new.
Euphoria engine.
Yeah. But apparently I heard they repurposed it for the Force Unleashed 2 though.
Right, I guess I heard something about that. But that trailer, so I have sort of a theory because in 2004 there was that trailer, and then there was another trailer. It wasn't released to the public, but it was a pitch video for basically like Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures, but in the style of Emperor's Tomb, and it was done by the collective who made Emperor's Tomb. And I posted it on my channel a little bit ago, a few months ago, and it was the opening scene of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they actually made the full level in that style. And so my theory is that these two pitch videos were both made and sent to and put in front of whoever, some sort of head honcho at Lucasfilm to decide which project to go with. And so ultimately they went with Staff of Kings, which took 5 years and got canceled, unfortunately. So I do really wish that they had done that. I wish we had gotten both, but it makes me really sad that we never got that Greatest Adventure, and we got neither in the end.
true. And speaking of games, what is going on with Bethesda's Indiana Jones? Game?
Oh, what on earth, man? Yeah. 2 years.
All we have is that little video.
Yeah.
So I'm either guessing that something is going to happen this summer when they release the movie. Like, it would be the perfect time to drop something.
Right.
Oh, definitely. I kind of think they're almost holding out for the movie, just trying to maximize the audience.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
It would have been
But,
better if they had it like done in time for the movie, but yeah. Probably.
Yeah, right now I think it's too, like, I would think that if they wanted to start doing any sort of promotional stuff, they would probably start now.
Right.
In the coming months leading up to the movie. So I'm not really too, it might be, honestly, afterwards, but they might be, when that trailer came out, they said that they were probably in super early development, so I'm pretty sure that we're not going to see stuff for it for a long time,
And
which is kind of sad.
I know that Bethesda right now, they have a big game called Starfield, which is from Todd Howard, who's also behind that Indiana Jones game. So I'm wondering if maybe they're focusing on that right now, and once that gets done, they're going to be able to shift resources a little bit. I don't know.
True.
There's like a... I haven't looked in the last few days, but the rumor was that Bethesda is going to do an event this month, like at the end of this month, and they're going to show some stuff about games that are coming out this year. So I made a video on that, but I kind of doubt that they're going to show anything for Indiana Jones, but fingers crossed, yeah, because I'd love to see some more.
Smallest, very small if they are ever to show anything.
Yeah.
It would be cool, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I have an interesting question. Have any of you guys ever seen a stunt show before?
What's that?
Stunt show at Walt Disney World?
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't understand. I can't understand what you're saying. Step show?
Stunt.
Oh, the stunt show. Oh, sorry. Yeah, actually, I never saw it. I go to the one in Disneyland, which has the ride, not the show.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know a lot of people love that show, but there's something that really does annoy me about it. It's just how inaccurate it is. I mean, do you guys know what I'm talking about when I say how inaccurate?
As in the costume?
Huh?
You mean the costume, or?
No, not just the costume, of course, but like all the events that happen in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they want to have the best parts from the movie, and they only have they have limitations. So,
True.
But yeah, I can understand that. Probably when I was younger, I would have went and I would have made that complaint. But yeah, at this point, I kind of accept this is just how it is,
No, this is just how people view Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Big Boulder. Yeah. Every time I ask somebody, do you know what Indiana Jones is? It's like, there's a guy running from a ball.
Yeah.
At least you know who he is.
Yeah, a lot of my friends don't, which sucks.
Yeah, and everybody always gets super baffled every time I say, oh yeah, I like Indiana Jones more than Star Wars, and they're like, what?
I say my favorite movie, I'm like, oh, Indiana Jones. What?
What? What's that? I have a feeling that this movie coming out is going to bring huge publicity to Indiana Jones. That's something.
Yeah, definitely. Really... I mean, that's always how it is for this franchise. Like, when the movies come out, and for 1 or 2 years after each movie, the character is very popular, and there's a bunch of expanded material and all of that, and then it just kind of fizzles out. Like, when there's not a movie, there's no extra content either, which is what's so frustrating about it. No,
which is why, right, and which is why I think that now, since we're living in this new age of where marketing is kind of a big thing. I mean, I know it was back then, but even around the time when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out, I remember getting a Kellogg cereal box with an Indiana Jones spoon.
Yeah.
So they were everywhere. But
Yeah.
I have a feeling that now, since it's like, Disney and they really like marketing and stuff like that, I can see them really pushing out more merchandise even years later, especially with Lego sets.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. A lot of licenses were announced this week. I don't know if you guys saw that, but like, Build-A-Bear is gonna have some stuff. Obviously, Lego and Funko Pop and Hasbro and a lot of like jewelry, backpacks. Like, there's all kinds of stuff coming.
And even the third parties. I saw a hat maker on Facebook that started doing the Indiana Jones 5 hat.
Yeah,
Which,
Ragnarelli.
Right. Yeah. I purchased a Streets of Cairo hat from him like a couple of days ago. So, heard he does a pretty good job at it, so I'm looking forward to getting that.
Yeah, I'm on a lot of the cosplay groups. He does great work.
Oh yeah, for sure.
oh, who is it? Who made it? You said?
What was his name? You said it perfectly.
Yeah, it's Tognarelli. And I think it's Andrea Tognarelli. He makes great indie hats.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Streets of Cairo is like enough to rival Fido Raiders. Is that?
Oh, Fedora Raiders is another level. I love it. I love his hats.
Yeah, I will say acquiring a Fedora Raiders hat is harder than getting the Ark of the Covenant.
It's not easy, and I think he only makes them in one size, so it would never fit me anyway.
Yeah, he makes the hat pretty big, which is why I'm gonna get it from the. I can never pronounce his name, but
Tognarelli.
Tognarelli. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And I also told him, make it extra dirty. It needs to be dirty. Yes.
Yeah. See, if I'm gonna get another Raiders hat, I think I want a truck chase, so I can just like destroy that thing.
Yeah, and then get like a really like nice hero jacket, and then just like absolutely beat the hell out of it.
Yeah. Well, I have a Wested. I'm waiting on a Wested, so maybe I can just like destroy that thing.
Yeah. I saw that you mentioned that you were getting one of those.
Yeah, a Steel and Jones would be great too, but I don't have that kind of money.
I think the Steel and Jones Temple hat is probably the best one.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the truck jacket, because that jacket is impeccable.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty. Yeah. I think honestly for a jacket, not too big. If you go for like a smaller size, not like too small like how it is in Temple of Doom, but like around like the plane fight seems pretty good. I kind of like the way he looks in between the truck chase, or no, in between when he's getting out of the Well of Souls and before he fights the German mechanic. I just like how his outfit seems really dirty, and that's kind of the look I'm going for.
Yeah. No, he doesn't look right clean. That's one thing that I kind of don't like in Dial of Destiny. He looks very clean, but I'm sure by the end of it, it won't get all dirty.
Like I heard people complained a lot about that with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that everybody looks like their clothes are cleaned.
Yeah.
So.
But no, I have a feeling at the end of the movie though he'll just be like bloody and dirty and stuff. It'll look cool.
Yeah. Value. I'm just looking at a couple of shots from the trailer here.
Yeah, do you think if Lego releases like their new sets coming out, do you think they'll like kind of reveal more of the plot?
Seems like something that Lego does most of the time.
Yeah. Did you know? Like maybe they'll release I don't even know, like a Volar plane, and it will reveal more about what the plane does,
Right.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe like I wondered if they would have something that takes place in ancient Syracuse. I mean, that would be like a big spoiler if they did that.
Yeah, that would have to be like a Wave 2 kind of thing.
Yeah. So we think there's 4 sets for Indy 5. So I think probably the train is one, and probably the tuk-tuk chase is one. And then there would be 2 more sets. What do you guys think that they could possibly be?
Possibly the boat.
Ooh, yeah.
Which boat?
The Antonio Banderas' boat.
Banderas. Okay, yeah.
and then possibly the scene with the Atlas statue, or maybe the
yeah.
final. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't think
I'm
about that. The Atlas statue. Go ahead.
that'd be cool.
Mm.
I'm kind of leaning towards the playing that bowler right. I have a feeling that's gonna be like a set piece because you kind of
Mhm.
see, at least I assume, like a motorcycle person going towards the plane, and you kind of see the cockpit view, and then Hasbro released their bowler plane. I have a feeling that's gonna be like a good scene in the movie. So
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they could also do one like a small set of the parade scene, perhaps. Maybe like get a minifigure of Kleber on the motorcycle, perhaps, and then
oh
Indy
yeah,
on the
Oh, okay,
horse.
yeah.
Yeah,
If it's a small set, yeah. I was
yeah,
wondering
one of
about
those.
that scene because it's like, what are you gonna do? You're just gonna have like a ton of minifigures, and that's your parade.
Yeah, maybe I think that they would probably have, I guess, like a couple of minifigures that are just civilians, and then they'll have like Indy on the horse, and then I guess the big build part is just building Kleber's police motorcycle. So.
Mhm.
maybe. Or they can do like parade floats. Like I'm pretty sure it's an Apollo 11 parade, so maybe they can have like the astronauts on like a nice little parade float.
Yeah, and then they had that one parade float with like the moon on it. They could,
Right.
yeah, I could see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe you can have like remember there was like little showgirls or like dancers or whatever on the side. That'd be a cool minifigure to get.
Right.
Did you guys
Like,
collect the
running
Lego
away.
indie stuff?
I did.
Oh, I have. I love them.
Yeah. See,
Since
I
they're
never.
far too old.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear whatever you guys have to say about those ones.
Oh yeah, I have them. It's just they're probably just not even assembled. I mean, I got them from that time. I never bought them third party. I mean, I got them when it was 2008,
Mm.
and yeah, it's.
But you
I
never
don't
built
have them
them?
built. No, I did, but
Oh, but then you take
time.
them out and you put them in a box, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I had the Peru plane from Crystal Skull. That one I've been meaning to rebuild it. I have a whole tub full of Legos. I can do it. I just need the time.
Oh yeah. When I was a kid, they released Lego Adventures, Lego Adventurers, and that was like the Johnny Thunder and those characters. And this was before Lego did licensing. This was even before they had a Star Wars. So like to me, like this was the Indiana Jones Legos at the time, and especially, I mean, all of them were really cool. But I remember especially the Egypt one, and they had one that was like the big, like their biggest one, and it was like a sort of like a pyramid, and it was like the temple and stuff, and that was a really cool set. It's all in tubs in my mom's basement in Ohio. Next time I go out there, I think I'm gonna try and sift through that and build that if I can.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd kind of go full circle if, like, say they had like a Johnny Thunder like reference in the sets. That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Because I know Lego does that. Like they have little posters or something in some sets.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Especially those really big sets.
Yeah.
They had a lot of detail, like the big Spider-Man Daily Bugle building. There's so many Easter eggs on that set. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not sure unless anyone has anything else, maybe we'll wrap it up here, huh?
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty good plan.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, we've had a good time. So thank you guys for joining me on the stream, and thank you to all of you guys for watching. Thank you guys.
Yeah, awesome to be here.
And yeah, thanks for having me. I know it wasn't really a part of the plan. Thanks.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
It was a pleasure. All right, so thank you once again, everybody. We appreciate you. Stay tuned, and we'll keep pumping out the videos. And do make sure that you guys have joined our Discord. Actually, Fizzy, do you think you can post the Discord link really quick in the chat for me?
Yeah.
I should have done that before. I should mention that a lot of these all of us here on this chat know each other, especially through the Discord. Fizzy helped me set up that Discord for my channel, and we've been hanging out there. And sometimes we get together and talk about Indiana Jones. And we had the idea. Fizzy, I should say, had the idea to get everybody together for a live stream and talk about the movie. So yeah, I think we had fun. We had
Yeah,
a lot of people on here.
it was a great time.
Yeah. So I'm gonna wait just a minute if you can post that for me.
I think I sent it in the chat, live stream chat.
Can you do it? Oh, can you do it in the YouTube stream?
Yeah, I've done it.
Oh, you did. For some reason, I'm not seeing it. That's weird.
Hey, should I send it to you on maybe Discord, and you'll just
I can probably just do it real quick here, actually.
Okay.
Except I just lost. All right, give me a second here. Did you send it?
Yeah,
Okay. All right, so paste. All right, so yeah, if you guys want, please click the link there. Join us on Discord, and we're always chatting there, and we're people always post pictures of like their cosplay, and who was it who posted who's building like the 12-inch Indiana Jones? Was that one of you guys?
I think it was wasn't it your boy Harambe? He's also another staff.
Oh right.
Or yeah.
Harambe.
Okay. So yeah, like everybody on there loves Indiana Jones. So make sure you subscribe to my channel here on YouTube first of all, and also if you want to join us there, stay in touch with us, and we're gonna keep the spirit of adventure alive as we make our way towards Indiana Jones 5. So
Yeah.
thank you all so much once again, and I wish you all fortune and glory. Bye bye now.
Awesome.